Hello, hello, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Welcome to Stars with Stasi, where no matter who or what you are on this cosmic journey, you are welcome here. I'm Stasi, your trusted psychic, intuitive reader, and fellow Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, thank you so much for all of your energy, your likes, your shares, subscribes. If you are new here, welcome home. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. We're going to get into the reading for the week of June 29th through July 5th. And we're also going to look at just basically the energy surrounding our finances and our creativity and all of those things driving us this week. So let's take a deep breath, take a look at the space around you. Be grateful for your lessons, your accomplishments. Be kind to yourself. And let's begin. All right, guys, if you are new here, I will be letting everyone know what to comment below so that you can be entered to win a free mini reading. One moment. And I will be doing last week's winner at the end of this reading. So make sure to hang tight. We've got Crown Games, the right use of power. And then we've got number 49, the Fates. What's this? Death and rebirth. Oh, Scorpio already showing up. So for sure, fated events happening in the sky right now. And I believe as we are heading in through July, August, right, things really start to unfold. I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunity here for you to negotiate to get an outcome that favors you. That's coming through. This reads transformation of a new self or cycle and release resistance. Wow, Scorpio, this is also number 5. So let's look at that. You can see the phoenix rising in that card, death and rebirth, right? Release resistance. That's a big message coming through. Release resistance. Skywriting, the fates are involved, right? These are fated events. And I feel like there are huge things that are playing out that I'm seeing with my clients. If you're looking for a personal reading, always head over to starswithstasi.com. And I would love to work with you guys. So one moment, let me just shuffle this a little bit more. Number 49 reduces to 13, which is Scorpio energy. Interesting. So now we've got Scorpio coming through twice, really, is how I'm reading this. And this says seek guidance in this, number 31. Seek guidance in this. It's time for a different perspective. And I'm picking up this energy that you are undermining your abilities. You're undermining your power to what is this? I'm hearing you have the power to proceed, the power to proceed. That's interesting. So I guess, Scorpio, if you've been holding back because of fears, insecurities, there's this energy here that you're creating barriers. And so now things are being redirected. You might see and witness things that really change a perspective for you and give you that push that you need. If you resist the push, if you resist the change, the catalyst becomes more uncomfortable. That's the message. Also, if you have been resisting getting checked out, meaning your physical vessel, your mental health, all of these things, you are definitely getting pushed before the 3rd week in July. And I have to say that because it came through last week as well. All right, guys, let's take a deep breath. And let's get into these messages. Again, have gratitude for all that you are, all that you have been, and all that you ever will be, because that is the key to success. Loving all parts of you and knowing who you are, who and what you are. I also want to point out that we've got the number 8, and then we've got the reduction of 49 and 31 to number 4. And here we've got Scorpio energy showing up again. So this is the 3rd time we're getting that transformative energy. So comment below. This is going to be the key to a mini reading because I feel this so strongly. Build it and they will come. Comment that. Build it and they will come. Because Scorpio, I feel strongly that if you want to see change in the world, you've got to be that change, right? And if you don't create the scene, then you're always going to be someone like a character in someone else's production. So here we've got Death card showing huge transformations where you are discovering parts of yourself you didn't know. Here we've got 8 coming through. Study, focus, craft it, build it, and they will come. Put yourself in the position of the writer, the author, the singer, the philosopher. Get creative with yourself. Learn things about you that you've been pushing to the side. What makes you really tick? And then turn that into something that you produce into the universe, because that can't be recreated by intelligence. Tell me more. That's too many. Thank you. I did just see the 7 of Swords. So there is an opportunity here for you to need to be very crafty and resourceful is how it's coming through. You are definitely leaving a situation, but I'm hearing do it with grace. You know, don't make a mockery of a situation. Just walk away from it. Allow it to alchemize on its own. I'm also hearing don't get involved with other people's fate, other people's drama. So someone's done you dirty. You're angry about something. You name it, right? Of course, shine the light where it needs to be shined, but you don't need to get yourself involved and make things I don't know. I'm being cautioned against revengeful tactics. That's the best way I'll say. Caution against revenge. And you could be on the receiving end of that. So there's a lot here about protecting your energy. The Empress came through with the Emperor. And so I keep seeing the number 4, right? We've got the reduction to 4 here. So 4 plus 9 is 13. Again, reducing to 4. We've got 8 coming through and 31 reducing to 4. And then we've got Pisces and Aries. So let's look at that. If you're building a spiritual business, you're on the right track. I will say that. You're on the right track, and it's going to be very important that you lean all the way into this. But whatever you're doing for yourself, the key to freedom here is about entrepreneurship. It's about sharing of your gifts. It's about voicing your and how should I put this? Putting your voice, putting your product out into the universe. I want to look further at this. I did see the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So new things materializing once you lean into it. And the message again, release resistance. And the way this has come through for me, if you've been with me over the years, and again, comment, build it, they will come. Trust me. I just started this a couple years ago and here you are, right? So you never know who you're going to resonate with. And again, it doesn't have to be that you're doing something to create financial resources, but at the end of the day, you're leaving a legacy behind. And what is it that you want to leave? And what does that product look like? And who is it for? And again, it's probably for your future self, some version of you, right? So let's see what this transformation looks like. I feel very strongly that you're going to be looking deeper into how to accomplish something very specific. But with all the retrogrades happening in July, right, I would caution you to this as being a refinement period. A refinement period. So we've got Scorpio energy. What is it with the 8 and the 4s? It's kind of, you know, again, build it, they will come, because 4 is a number of foundation, 8's a number of manifesting with limitless potential. So we have Death and 8 of Swords. Get out of your own way. You have to investigate options that you haven't even looked at before. Technology has changed. The way to communication has changed, travel has changed, and it will continue to do so. While many of you don't want to hear it because it doesn't seem feasible, just know that by 2030, the world that we live in will be completely different. Do not resist the change because there is nothing certain but change. So 8 of Swords, says, lean on your intuition. There are paths that you just haven't even, rocks you haven't turned over yet. Your ability to create anything and everything is available to you. And as I was saying before, release the skin you are in, right? This is an avatar. Release all of this, because that avatar that you somehow were gifted through this process of being programmed into, the somebody training, as Ram Dass would call it, right? That process, it's time to release that and create your own thing. So the Eight of Cups, I said Eight of Cups, Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is coming through with the Sun card here. So Leo energy, I'm picking up on that. I feel like next month, I'm getting warm as this is coming through, that's a good sign, actually. It's saying that the stir of energy, the igniting of the passion, lighting of the torch, all of those things came through. I'm actually seeing an Olympian with a torch running. That's interesting. I feel like freedom is right around the corner for you, Scorpio, but there is this energy of, like, again, release the resistance, right? No one dies at the end of this production because you don't do it perfectly the first time or the second time, and there is no perfection. Every step you take is perfect for you. The Sun card comes through. The energy to accomplish your goals is happening as well, but that's going to take a little bit longer. I feel like August does bring about more clarity, and July's more about refinement, revision, reflection, building, getting information. You could be at a crossroads. We've got Gemini energy. These are all major arcana cards, major life lessons, things hitting you like a ton of bricks this week. And that's not a bad thing, Scorpio. You could perceive it that way. It might feel overwhelming because here these are big. The big cats are coming for you, right? And these are all happening, the first 7 cards, and those are your conscious acts of will. What are you consciously doing? So the Lover's card has you really contemplating 2 sides of the same coin. And it's like, you want safety, you want security, you want freedom, you want consistency, but you want to do it on your terms. And what does that look like? It looks like you've either got to build your own thing and release the fear that it won't sustain you. That's coming through. It's saying get very creative as well, because the energy of creativity and the energy that you put out when you are stepping into your divine blueprint actually reduces and can often eliminate much of the negativity that happens around you, right? Like you're vibing too high. So a lot of bullshit won't come your way, if that makes sense. So again, build it, they will come. That's the thing. And the universe is saying, like, it's the only way to really understand yourself is by taking chances. The 9 of Cups comes through, a lot of independence and being able to sustain yourself, happiness coming through as well. But there's a period of fear. 8 of Swords. Guys, what are we afraid of? And I think that's the question we have to ask ourselves, right? You're not alone. This is the entire collective, not just Scorpios, but Scorpios are the champions of change. And we are the leaders of it. We know how this goes. We know that with this Phoenix rising energy is all about, but it is scary. I'm not even going to try to front. I'm going through it too, right? You guys have, and thank you, by the way, so much for each and every one of you that have mentioned, hey, Stasi, we haven't seen you all week. Where have you been? This physical vessel is going through its own upgrades and through its own changes, and it certainly is taxing on the body. It is taxing on the mind, and I am doing the best I can, and I am so grateful for your energy, and thank you for checking in. But it is scary because there's a part of me, just like you out there, Scorpio, that says, I really want to go all in, but can I sustain it? Can I do it? Well, there's only one way to find out. Right? You have to try and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, you pivot, and that's it. right? I know that sounds kind of crazy, but what else are you going to do? And who else is going to do it? There's like literally nobody else but Stars with Stasi that can figure out if Stars with Stasi is going to work, right? And it's already working. But how much further can we go? What can the body sustain? What can the mind create? And I feel like that's coming through for Scorpios in general, right? And so pivot you will. That's for sure. Pivot you will. So let's keep going. We've got again another number 8 with the 8 of swords coming through twice. Tell me more about what that means for Scorpio. We've got the King of Swords, right? Information, clarity. You might even need to you could seek out assistance, right? Somebody who's been down that road before, somebody who knows how to maybe live on a different type of budget, right? Maybe you need to figure out a budget so that you can sustain the transition. Maybe you just need to study more about what it is that you want to put out into the universe. Can you build a class? Can you build a product that can work while you can't, for example? And here we've got the 6 of swords coming through. So this second part of this week is all cerebral, right? How am I going to do this? There's planning. Can I do it? How am I going to do it? Yes, I can do it. That's how it goes, because the story here is the 8 of swords. I'm not sure I can manage to, well, let me see, what does it actually take to manage what I want to create? Oh, maybe I can do this. And look, Scorpio, because the universe is changing so rapidly, you can see the writing on the wall. And from what I understand, major companies have already announced releasing employees and things being replaced through AI and automation. And, we've been talking about that for years now. So, of course, here we are seeing it play out. But it's not just that. It could be government structures fall. So if the government resources are your main income or part of your income, or if you work for the government, depending on where you are, I'm in the United States, you may want to have a backup plan, right? You want to make sure that your finances are within your control enough to sustain you. And then from there, the universe says, once you lean into that, it'll be more than more than just to sustain you. There's a lot of information that you need to get familiar with. I was just going to say there's a lot of information you need to familiarize yourself with so that you can build that legacy. And sure enough, here we've got the 2 of Pentacles with the King of Pentacles. So there's a balancing act, a give and take, right? And it also needs to be fun for you, Scorpio. You need to enjoy it. But the minute this becomes so stressful, you repel the purpose of the project. So we've got the 2 of Pentacles and we've got the King of Pentacles meeting the King of Swords. So I feel like here you're going back and forth in your head. That's what's creating the disharmony, right? And the universe says, okay, well, you can't ignore, right, the perceived limitations, because then they become bigger. You can't resist this. This is your brain saying, are you sure that this is feasible? And this is, the pentacles coming through and saying, all right, well, what can we take from here and put here? Like, where can I create safety for myself? I think there's a lot more to this next week and upcoming weeks than you are aware of. Again, you don't see the big picture just yet. You see the shakeup. You can feel it. You're about to quit. You're about to get walking papers. That something's, you're under review, or you just feel completely at odds with the environment that you're in all day. And that's the pressure of God, so to speak, which is pressure of the universe saying you are meant for more. We've got these 2 kings meeting here, and this is showing up in the central position. So this is the king of information, knowledge, conversations, right? The things of the cerebral, and this is the king of material longevity, the material, right? So air is here for it's backwards. So here we have air, cerebral mind, also the ideas of it all, right? The thing before it's the thing, and then we have it becoming the thing, material form. So we're there's a lot of processing happening. July specifically, this is for the entire month. I'm feeling you're learning, how do I make it happen? You get information, you make it happen. So let's look at this 6 of wands for a second. I'm sorry, 6 of swords. Shut up. Because who came out the 6 of wands? Build it, they will come. You see, Scorpio, when you're passionate about something, right? When you're passionate about something, you get things like this happening. Like, I just think this is so cool. And, it doesn't have to be for everybody. Some readers, that would happen. They would be like, oh, that's cool. I think that's confirmation. 6 plus 6 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1, 2, 3. Progressive, methodical steps in any direction at this point, just out of the one that you're currently in, basically, is freedom, victory, and better days ahead. You need information to make your ideas come into material form. That tree of life back there, right? You see that very first sphere all the way up there? That's Keter. And then we come down to Malkut. And I feel, right, the way I'm seeing that is like the idea to the material, right? And this month is going to have you bringing these things together. Interesting. All right, so let's keep going. Tell me more about what Scorpio needs this week to support. All right, they're taking me back to this card. It's time for a different perspective. So, and then they're drawing me here. One moment. We're going back to this, and they're taking me here, and they're saying, okay, what you need is a different perspective. You need to bounce this off someone. You need to do a deep search on something. Maybe check things on multiple platforms, right? Get out of the very tight algorithm that you're in, which is also true for me, and explore, investigate, expand, do it. The devil card just came through, Capricorn energy. So this could be very much false beliefs, right? You think something is 100% fact. If I do X, Y, Z, this is, what the point is, the universe is saying it's a paradigm. It's false, right? None of what your fears are actually going to manifest unless you continue to put energy into that. So, all right, let's put him right there. I've got the Queen of Wands showing through about having courage, because that in itself is attractive. Courage, confidence. This week is going to challenge you. And it's going to have you really reconsidering why it is you haven't done something sooner. Do you still have time? You get an opportunity that wasn't exactly what you thought it would be. So let's just say I'm getting a ping for you are wanting to publish something, and you have a very specific idea in mind about what the cover looks like and where it'll be in print and all the things. And then you find out that, yes, it's going to be published, but through a different publisher and digitally, right? And that wasn't what you wanted. And it turns out to be better for you. Right. So just go with it. But that was very specific, but that could be applied to many people, right? You are in the middle of, I'm also picking this up. You are in the middle of well, I wouldn't even say in the middle. This feels like the beginning stages of some major disruption. Major disruption. It could be legally, contractually. It's coming through like that type of disruption, like something that comes with contractual or legal complications. And if this is happening with you in your workspace, it is, again, to push you out of that environment. But it's almost like before you leave that environment, you do shine the light on some major issues. I've got the Two of Swords coming through. The interesting thing about the Two of Swords is there's this energy of like being closed off, but it's out of, again, out of fear. There's information that you don't have that once you get that clarity, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even consider that platform, or I didn't consider that tool, or I didn't consider that skill, right? I always talk about people who crochet online and just make a killing. There is something about watching that is, I'll watch it. And my point is, I don't turn on the news, but I'll watch somebody crochet a monstera plant, which is something I literally did the other day. So you just never know. You never know. Um, I think it's going to be very, very important that people just show themselves, unmask, show yourself, put your creations out there. Six of Wands again. I just want to look at this and make sure I'm not missing anything. I feel like as we are wrapping up, because literally wrapping up June, and if you're watching this past June, I want you to think back to what we just had, a new moon in Cancer, right? And whatever seeds you planted, we're going to see them manifest in the full moon in Cancer. But as we're watching this unfold, I feel like you just need to allow for the changes to take place and build it. They will come. Look into what it is that you really want to do. Guys, I have to, that I'm a very positive reader, but this ping has come up so many times this week. I feel like I need to share this and take it or leave it, because again, I'm just sharing the messages I get. But I feel that with so much uncertainty out there on the world stage, there's a high likelihood for some sort of I think I've said this last year, like at the end of 2024, I was talking about the possibility for a pandemic of paranoia, a pandemic of fear, and a perception, so to speak. So there could be something that does happen on the world stage that does have people isolating or needing to isolate, maybe temporarily. And so, the way to stay in contact with others might be through a platform. I don't want that to happen. It's just something that I've seen in my mind's eye, and I'm not sure what that looks like exactly. So, keep the vibe high, but get your home in order, make sure it's comfortable, get your health in order before the 3rd week of July, get whatever it is that you need to be comfortable, and start building a plan for what that looks like for you to be happy as well. So we've got the Magician card coming through, as above, so below. There's a lemniscate above the head of the Magician, and the Magician basically has everything they need to create the world that they want. This is also about balancing your elements, right? Balancing yourself out. You're being redirected because basically I'm seeing you're being depleted, right? You're depleting yourself in the environment you're in. It's unhealthy. And again, not for everybody, but I feel like for most, I don't know, Scorpio, the 6 of Swords comes through again. 1 second. Oh, let me just check. You know how they fly. So I've got the 6 of Swords showing up, but I also have the Chariot card. So I want to talk about that, and the Emperor. So we'll take these 3. And they want me to take this one too. 1 second. Remember, guys, build it, they will come. And even if you think this doesn't apply to you, even if you're like, Stasi, I'm retired, I am not doing anything, or Stasi, I don't blah, blah, blah. Okay, then this isn't for you, but I would challenge you to get more creative in your life. And I would challenge you to see what you can do with that. And I would challenge you to leave a legacy of all that you've learned in this lifetime. And consider that there is someone out there, that future you, that will benefit from that information, right? And I mean, I know that for me, and I want to say this for for all people watching this, but specifically, I really do love my Scorpio sages, right? Those of us that are more mature, so to speak. I don't have personally like that grandparent energy around, and never really have had that. So I do tend to gravitate to people with more life experience, or people who will online, talk about their life and blah blah blah. Like I personally love that. So, I just think that there's a lot of value. Like, don't underestimate the power of your purpose. Mm, the power of your purpose. That's it. The power of your purpose is revealed to you this week. And you're going to be scared as hell. And you're going to say, I just don't know that I can give up everything I've known, the devil I know. Oof, that's what it is, Scorpio. I don't know if I can give up the devil I know for the power of my purpose. Oh, shit. Woo, well, the universe says, yes, you are. You're going to give it all up, like it or not. Because here we've got the Six of Swords again, right? It's choppy, scary waters. You don't know what the hell you're doing just yet. But you do, because the magician says this is not your first rodeo. You've done this before. You have all the tools you need to be successful. Better days ahead here, right? But you've got to trust. And you know what? Here's the thing. People always talk about this card. Like, who the hell is this person over here navigating this? We always talk about this being the person leaving a situation. But who is this guiding the boat? Who is it? I think it's your higher self. I think it's the universe. It's your spirit guide. Call it what you want. But you're not alone in this journey. That's beautiful. I could cry. Like, you are, ooh, you're not alone. And I've never really looked at this card that way. So, ooh. I don't know why Mama's so emotional, but Mama Stasi is. So build it and they will come. But I really feel my messages, and I do feel the fear. I do feel the on a personal level and on a collective level. So we have the Emperor showing up again. We've got the Three of Pentacles, which is literally build it, they will come energy, and the Chariot card. So I want to talk about how this manifests in your world. Chariot card, Cancer energy. Things happening very, very quickly. But it's also happening from a position of authority and neutrality. You have to enter this next phase of life for real, from a place of, fuck it, let's see what happens. You have to. Like, what you can't possibly, Scorpio, plan out every step of everything that you do. You don't even have the tools to see that far ahead. I mean, you have the tools to build the thing, but you don't have the perspective. How's that? You don't have the perspective of divinity, right? What you do have is the drive, the will, the desire, the ability to trust. But this says you can't make a decision from an excitable place. The Chariot card, even though people are like, oh, that's going to happen quickly, it's divine guidance and timing and all the things, that's all true. That's all true. But the thing about the Chariot card is that this person is in control, right? And they are not giving into one way or the other of doing things. They're saying, you know what, I'm gonna stay balanced. I'm gonna stay focused, and I'm charging forward. And this is victory. This is victory for you for leaning in. This is victory for you leaning in. This is victory for you leaning in. This is victory for you leaning in, Scorpio. Build it, they will come. And don't just build it, thrive with it, morph with it, be genuine, be authentic, unmask. Everything is automated. It's being automated. It's gonna be automated. Where do we find value? Remember back in the day when we were growing up, depending on, look, I'm 49, so who knows when you got here. But in my time, it's like the closer you worked with human beings, the less money you made. The disrespect to our teachers, right? Our philosophers, our psychologists, right? The disrespect to our doctors, a lot of times with just the low amount of benefit. Those are really passion driven, our clergy. And I guess what I'm saying is now the tables turn. The closer you work with humans by touch, by sound, by written things, I mean, by sharing of experiences, this is what's leading forward movement. Everything else can be automated. So where is the value? Right. I was listening to a lecture by Molly McCord. She's an astrologer, and I definitely look her up if you haven't already. And she was talking about, how different things are appearing and what is the value of a 4-year education in today's world when in 4 years we're going to be in a completely different world. And it's interesting. I bring that up because I want to explain to you that, like, it's just one foot in front of the other, right? It's great to have a goal and to work towards it, but be realistic that those goals are going to change very quickly. So if you have been in the same position for 20, 30 years because it's been comfortable, it's been easy, it's what you've known, it's time to start exploring who you are when you're not building someone else's dream. The Chariot card says move forward. Number 7, God's number. Move forward without expectation, because you want to, and you will see the greatest successes of your life. You may be a person in a position to teach, work with others, but just because you are a teacher, you are also a student. So this is a perfect cycle, so to speak. So I feel like, and I think I said this last time, no sooner than you become the student, you are the teacher at the same time. So this is very interesting. And I also am getting a ping for someone with an art gallery. I have to put that out there. I love this for you if you're considering opening an art gallery or working in some type of digital art. I'm not sure what that means because that's not my wheelhouse, but this looks good. So I'm going to say that. There's a lot of merchandise to be made as well with what you're creating. Art is a beautiful expression of magic, and I just want to put that out there. Art, literature, song, dance, the creatives. It's a beautiful expression of the divine matrix, and I wish that all of us would tap into that more than ever. Build it, they will come. All right, guys, so let's look at the shadow work that we have for Scorpio this week. I feel like this week is definitely bringing us a lot of challenges, cleansing out the fears. Like, I'm literally feeling like, just getting like what I'm actually seeing is like a submersion, right? into water, and I'm seeing like a healing taking place, and I'm seeing a washing away at the root level. I'm actually seeing like a plant, right? Like a washing away at the root level. And then I'm looking at a new emergence, a new growth. And again, as above, so below, as within, so without. And it's a beautiful energy, I have to be honest. Number 13, Scorpio, that's our number. Number 13, rejection versus maturing. Oof, God. That's true, Scorpio. All right, let me tell you where my mind went. This reading just took over all my emotions. So rejection and maturing, Scorpio energy, right? Why is it? Because 13 is the death card in the major arcana. So 1 + 3 is 4. 4 is a number of foundation. So what makes a solid foundation? 1, is it rejection? When you're mature and you've evolved and you are a light worker, it may feel like rejection. It may feel uncomfortable, but then a mature light body knows that that was a redirection. That was a lesson. That was a bumper on the side, bumper rail saying, you don't want to go there anymore, or you're done with this lesson, or this cinema of trauma is closed today. So I think that there is something here about, rejection is God's redirection. And when you are mature and you are maturing and you are evolving and you're learning who and what you are, you do have to, very carefully so, prune yourself, prune your environment, get rid of the dead weight, get rid of the excess drain it, like the soil, right? Like I'm literally, maybe Angela's talking to me from the back, but that's what I'm seeing. It's like, allow there to be proper room to grow, allow there to be fresh, fertile soil. And if there's an infestation, right, of discomfort, and if there are things that are going awry for you, that rejection is God's protection and is your redirection. Who is God? You are God. Okay. So that's beautiful. And there's this energy here of like trusting that you didn't make it this far just to stop, right? And that you Scorpio, listen, your entire life has been about the rebuild, the crash, the rebuild, the crash, the rebuild. It doesn't stop today. So what happens if, and I'm talking to myself too. So what happens if? What happens if it works? And what happens if you gain more freedom than you ever thought possible because it's your vision? And if it doesn't quite work, then what have you always done? Rebuild, redirect, refine, right? So it's very important, though, that you need to take care of the Saturnian stuff, your health. Well, I don't know if that's really your health, but like getting your ducks in a row, right? And if you want to make money, learn about money. But is it about money? It's really about freedom, right? More than likely, it's about freedom. So let's see what that looks like. What can Scorpio manifest with this energy? And again, guys, thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes. Comment below. Build it, they will come. There's a method to my madness. Trust me. All right, it says, when I'm grateful for what I have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. Gratitude is the right attitude. When I'm grateful for what I already have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. Scorpio, you're already living. You're already breathing, right? You've done something right today. And yesterday was a lesson. And the day before was a lesson. And what can you do about it now? Right? You have to allow yourself the freedom to grow and the freedom to make mistakes. Because if you did everything perfect the first time, then what fun is that? That's just boring. I'd turn that channel, right? You're not learning anything. So, take it for what it is. But this is an amazing time to figure out the power of your purpose. Scorpio, thank you so much for your likes, your shares, subscribes. Hang tight. I'm going to announce the winner of last week's mini reading. But like I always say, guys, we are all stars from the sky with feet on the ground. And we really are. We're doing the best we can with the information that we have. So be kind to yourselves and each other. And may the magic that we weave and the words that we speak bring healing to all those who seek it. And until next week, Scorpio, shine brightly. All right, guys. Thank you. All right. The winner of last week was one of my, listen, you have been commenting on my channel since the beginning. And you always leave the nicest comments, the shortest ones, but the nicest ones. So congratulations, Kiana Jordan 7046. And thank you for the many comments, the likes, all the things. I'm very appreciative. And I always light up when I see your handle, right? So I am very appreciative. So, all right, Kiana, let's look at it. Here we go. All right, my love. Whew, so let me just clear my energy here. Angels, ancestors, and spirit guides and interdimensional beings overseeing this act of divination for Kiana. Can I please get the highest and best messages? And let's bring it out let's look at the rest of the year, please. Let's look at the next 6 months. I'm going to give you a little extra because you're always giving me such positive energy. So let's see. What do we have for the next 6 months? What is the main focus for Kiana? Thank you. All right. And then I have this deck over here. So before I even look here, well, actually, I'm curious. I want to see. Oh, Well, what'd you get yourself into? I don't know, Scorpio, you need to surrender to love. Love vibes. Surrender to love. Are you in a relationship? Are you recently considering one? Has it been a difficult journey to allow yourself to love someone? Is this a love for you? Let's look further. Because whatever it is, the universe is calling you out. I've got the 5 of Swords coming through. Look at this. Interesting in this deck, the 5 of Swords, you see how that bird is like chirping in this person's ear? Anxiety, fear, right? What if this happens again? And maybe someone's trying to tell you about a partner, someone's in your ear trying to cause problems. If that's the case, you would definitely have gotten pings for that, right? You're nobody's fool. If somebody's been in your ear talking shit about your partner or talking shit about your lifestyle or who you are or what you're doing, I'm getting like hater energy, you know, jealousy a little bit too. Ugh. Oh, 100%. I've got the 9 of Wands here with the World card coming through. You know, I'm going to show you in this deck as well. So let's go here. So you've got that 9 of Wands, and then you've got the World card. So there's a chapter that's coming to an end here, and it looks like it has to do with surrendering to love. It looks like it has to do with being vulnerable. It looks like there's also been some serious difficulty in the past where there's been a deep hurt. I'm respectfully, I'm gonna step a little bit away from that energy because what I'm picking up is actually, how can I say this? I'm picking up on like a deep childhood wound, and I would say that this year is going to have you examining that on a soul level so that you can lay it to rest, because there's 0% chance that you need to relive any of that again. So only you can know what that is for you. And we all, of course, have childhood trauma, right? We all have a perception of like the worst thing ever, but there is something very specific here coming through. And it feels to me like it really changed your perspective on trust and surrendering to others. Right. And I feel like that wound comes to a bit of a head as we approach. And I'm feeling like August, September. Yeah. As I say August, right? 8 shows up. Whew, child, you know how it works here. I said August, September, right? Which are the numbers 8 and 9. So here we have 8, and then we've got the moon card 1, 8, which reduces to 9. I've got 3 of Wands coming through. There could be some travel here. You might even be considering traveling and checking out a place because maybe you move there in about 18 months. So take it or leave it, but there is something here about you. It starts off as an escape, right? Like, I just got to get away. And maybe you take a little trip and then you decide you really like where you just landed your happy ass and you might go back to the point that you stay. There's a journey here for you that takes you in a new direction. The moon card comes through with the 8 of Swords, right? Fear, not knowing, right? This is about a surrender. The next 6 months is going to have you surrendering. And if you are already in a partnership and you're not, and you're like, Stasi, this doesn't resonate. Like, I'm already in the best relationship and I'm in love with my life and everything's great. That all may be very well and true, but there is some pivoting here that's happening in the next 6 months that is going to take you in a new direction. And it could just be that you fall in love with yourself again. But I feel more or less it was the original message I was giving you. But again, only you know what's true for you. What else can you tell me as we get... So let's look at it here. In the first 2 months, so I did 6 months. So we're going to say June, July. You've got cycles ending. You are reinvestigating where this upset comes from, and you decide you might take yourself on a little holiday. You might go somewhere or just get out for a little bit, even if it's just checking out and turning all your devices off, right? But I feel like that starts happening somewhere August, September. And then you really get to see like, okay, what am I so afraid of? And what were to happen? Like I see this internal mental game going. And as we close out the year, we go 2 of Swords, 5 of Cups, King of Swords. So again, you've got a lot of conflicting priorities in your mind, right? Because you, as you can see, where did it go? I know I just showed you the 5 of Swords with the birds in the ear, right? But here we've got the 2 of Swords, kind of a similar idea, conflict, 8 of Swords, internal conflict, and then the King comes in. And the King says, all right, listen, this is in your head. We're going to get control of these birds, right? You see how now the bird is calm and paying attention. And now we've got an owl. And we have, well, a pterodactyl, a bat. I'm not sure. The point is, girl, the point is your perspective changes massively, and it goes from hurt to fear to like second guessing to mastery, where you're like, you know what? I'm not like, I don't know, because look, the King of Swords is how it ended. And before there, we get to the 5 of Cups. And I feel like maybe you go through a period of like, I don't want to say depression, but again, like reflection. And you're just like, oh, that was heavy. But you snap out of it. And you really do. And you use it to your benefit. But it is about surrendering. That's going to be the biggest challenge. So you got to let me know if this resonates for you or not. But the way it's coming across is once you give in, a whole new world. You think I'm lying? 6 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. What happens when you give in? What happens when you stop fighting? What happens when you take that trip and put yourself first and try to love again and fall back in love with you and pay attention to your needs? What happens? 6 of Swords. Look at that. They're pulling her now, right? Those birds are not creating disaster or conflict. They're creating solutions, and they're actually pulling the path ahead. To what? Queen of Pentacles. Sovereignty, freedom, strength. I love this for you. I wish you all the best and lean into all of it. It's scary. You're not alone. I promise you on that. I promise you on that. I promise you on that. I wish you all of the best. Thank you for your time and your energy. Hang in there. Keep going. No matter how hard it feels, it's a feeling, and feelings are meant to change. And so are you. Thank you, my love, and have a great week ahead. Shine brightly.